Okay guys, so before we get into all of the details, let's go over the few facts we know about the next two Avengers movies and what's been said. So first up, we know that Avengers 3 is officially titled Avengers Infinity War, but originally it was going to be Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. But halfway into development, they said that the two movies were so vastly different and took on such different identities that they decided to split the two up. Of course, just a little bit of time after that, Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, would come out and say that the official title for Avengers 4 was being kept under wraps and they were not going to announce it anytime soon due to the fact that it would spoil what was to come, which makes a lot of sense why you don't want to announce the title. Now, right around that time, they announced Captain Marvel would be shooting in early 2018, and of course we know Captain Marvel is coming just a few months before Avengers 4. It was after the news of Captain Marvel being announced that of course we found out this year that the main villains of Captain Marvel would in fact be the shape-shifting aliens known as Skrulls. And then it was also announced at the same time that Captain Marvel would actually not be taking place in modern day. Instead, the film is taking place in the early 90s, and we would see the early, beginnings of the whole superhero boom. Now, we haven't heard of Captain Marvel up until this point, so we can assume she goes up in space quite frequently in this movie and probably for the majority of it, and that's where her tale will unfold. But then recently, Kevin Feige did confirm that Captain Marvel would in fact be in Avengers 4, but not only that, we already knew this from seeing photos of Brie Larson, the actress playing Captain Marvel, arriving to Atlanta to shoot Avengers 4. And it's in this quote that I want to talk about it, so let me just read it for you guys right now. We're really focusing on Captain Marvel and the work that Anne and Ryan are doing. It's going to be a big part of heading towards the epic conclusion and epic finale of 22 movies over the course of 10 years. That is focus for the next 6 movies we have to finish and get out. The focus now is on delivering Captain Marvel, and then bringing Captain Marvel's story into the finale of everything we've started thus far. So quite an interesting quote, don't you think? Specifically there at the end. Bringing Captain Marvel's story into the finale of everything that we've started thus far. I don't know about you guys, but that to me kind of confirms that Captain Marvel coming out right before Avengers 4 is going to be more or less a direct tie-in to how this movie shapes up. Now, this wouldn't be the first time this has happened, because if we look at Avengers Infinity War and the entire cast of that movie, we see that there's plenty of actors from Black Panther. And they even said themselves that Black Panther ends on a, chapter, you can say, that directly leads into Avengers Infinity War and what these characters are doing there. Now, I've already speculated, in Avengers 4, we will go into that movie knowing that someone we followed for a long time is going to be revealed as a Skrull who's been hidden within the MCU the entire time, mainly due to the fact, once again, that Captain Marvel's story takes place in the 90s, so there's quite a few options on who it could be. So once again, they seem to be tiptoeing around Captain Marvel, but they're definitely saying she's involved and her movie is definitely involved into how the MCU in Phase 4 is going to kind of shape up after this whole thing, but it's bookending everything that's come before. And when you look at it, Captain Marvel is going to be the second movie chronologically in the timeline now after Captain America, the First Avenger. So they have this opportunity to place everything, kind of layer it, and then show us some scenes, and whoever could be a Skrull and deal with that. So maybe this is what's shaping up to be Avengers 4, which, once again, maybe it's Secret Invasion, maybe it's not. But then again, I know people are going to argue, you can't condense Secret Invasion into one movie. And then I'm going to come back at you and say, well, they condensed Civil War into one movie. And let's be real, they never adapt directly. They're inspired by them, but they twist stuff around.